Manchester in the 19th century wasn't just a city, it was a warning, a promise, a glimpse of the future. In a single century, it transformed from a northern town into the beating heart of the industrial world, driven by cotton, coal, steam, and relentless ambition. If Victorian Britain had an engine room, this was it. Much of that Manchester is gone. Buried, rebuilt, erased. But through old paintings, maps and photographs, and with the help of AI, we can step back inside it. This is Manchester in the 19th century. In the early 1800s, cotton drove everything. Raw cotton came through Atlantic trade, and Manchester turned it into cloth at huge scale. That supply chain included cotton grown by enslaved labour in the Americas. To keep up, mills rose fast. They were tall, brick-built with long rows of windows for light. Around them came workshops, yards, and worker housing. The city expanded for production first and comfort second. Ancoats is the best place to picture this. It is often described as the world's first industrial suburb. Purpose-built mills, tightly packed streets, and housing shaped by factory work. Steam power made that concentration possible. Once mills relied less on rivers, they could crowd into the town close to labour and transport. Coal fed the boilers, chimneys pumped out smoke, and soot settled on brickwork and lungs. People poured in from nearby villages. Manchester's population surged, but planning lagged behind. Housing was built quickly, often cramped and damp. Clean water and drainage were limited, and everyday life for workers was exhausting. And yet the city also attracted money and talent. Merchants and engineers built businesses, financed mills, and expanded trade. Commercial streets felt busy and modern, full of samples, contracts, and confidence that Manchester was leading. That confidence also produced conflict. In 1819, a peaceful reform meeting at St. Peter's Field ended in catastrophe when troops charged the crowd. Around 18 people were killed and hundreds injured. This is known as the Peterloo Massacre. Later, the Free Trade Hall was built on the same site, keeping Peterloo in memory. If the first decades were an explosion, the next 40 years were Manchester at full burn. The city ran like a system, mills producing, warehouses storing, canals and carts shifting goods. You could hear it in bells, whistles and shift changes. In 1830, the Liverpool and Manchester Railway opened. It is widely seen as the first steam-powered interurban railway built for passengers and goods, and it became a model for modern rail. Trade and travel sped up. By the 1840s and 1850s, Cottonopolis fit. Chimneys crowded the skyline and warehouses lined key streets. Buyers came from across Britain and beyond because Manchester's output fed global markets. But success brought severe overcrowding. Working districts were dense, housing was often damp, and disease spread quickly. Cholera outbreaks in the 1830s and 1840s terrified the city and pushed leaders to take public health seriously. Migration added to the pressure. Many Irish families arrived seeking work and safety, especially during the famine years. Some ended up in Little Ireland, a short-lived but infamous district of extreme poverty near the Medlock close to rail works. Workers didn't just endure the system, they challenged it. They organised, joined strikes, and supported movements like Chartism, demanding political rights for working men. One famous setting was Kersal Moor, over in Salford. Huge gatherings took place there, sometimes drawing tens of thousands. Newspapers argued about the exact numbers, but the point was clear: a new urban workforce wanted a voice. Reform arrived slowly and unevenly. Factory Acts began to limit hours, especially for children and women, and pushed conditions in a better direction. Enforcement could be patchy, but the principle mattered. Industry could be regulated. Manchester also invested in education. The Mechanics' Institute began in 1824 and later gained a major home on Princess Street in the 1850s. Lectures and classes helped people understand the science and politics of their age. The commercial class shaped national debate too. Manchester became linked with free trade ideas, the belief that removing barriers would grow business and lower prices. Whether admired or criticised, these arguments made the city a political force. Then the global link snapped into view. During the American Civil War, the war and the Union blockade disrupted cotton supplies, causing the cotton famine. Mills slowed or stopped, wages vanished and streets struggled. Yet in 1862, workers sent support to Abraham Lincoln. By the 1870s, Manchester was an established giant. The focus shifted from raw growth to management, better streets, better services, and a council confident it could plan progress. The city tried to make modern life workable. Nothing shows that civic confidence like the town hall in Albert Square, completed in 1877. It was built to impress and to last, signalling that Manchester saw itself as a civic capital, not merely a factory town. Public health became a serious mission. Clean water and sewage systems mattered as much as mills and rail. A milestone came in 1894, when water from Thirlmere in the Lake District began reaching Manchester, strengthening supply and safety. Industry still dominated many districts, but the economy widened. Warehouses, offices and rail-linked storage grew alongside manufacturing. The city was learning to live with the industrial machine and profit from the services around it. Competition increased. Other regions industrialised, overseas producers grew stronger, and markets shifted. This was not a sudden collapse, but by the 1890s, Manchester could feel new pressure, and the future looked less certain. Education and science helped broaden the city's identity. Owens College expanded its influence and fed a culture that valued research and practical innovation. Manchester was becoming more than just cotton. By 1900, Manchester stood as a monument to the 19th century. It helped invent the industrial city, with all the wealth and all the pain that came with it. The old brick canals and civic buildings still tell the story. So that's 19th century Manchester, a city that changed the world and was changed by it in return. If you enjoyed this journey, please give the video a like and subscribe for more AI recreated history. Tell me in the comments what city and what time period you want next, especially if there's strong old artwork we can rebuild. Thanks for watching. And now enjoy the AI scenes again as we replay them, so you can take another look at the streets, the mills, and the people of Victorian Manchester.